Welcome, everyone. I'm Jas, and that's Shar, and we are Black Girls Gab. And today we are going to recap Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 4. Go ahead, Shar, tell us or get us started.
Okay, so I think you said this earlier, but I think we should get like maybe just some couples out of the way because some of
Yeah,
them are just really boring. But
yeah,
I
irrelevant.
I would like to start with Haley and Jacob because I was so bored. Like from the leaving the wedding to even their night, I didn't have anything that was that special other
Yeah,
than Jacob mentioning he kept saying that he's pretty nonverbal. He's not great with his words. This, and that. So I think that's probably foreshadowing, and maybe some of that will come up in their issues that he doesn't discuss things.
yeah.
And of course, that they were very awkward in bed. Like I thought that was weird. But other than that, for nighttime, I didn't have anything for them. What did you think?
Honestly, I think the most exciting part of their whole time together was the fact that I saw that she had those sand away bags, and I know that we like went on. So for anyone who's listening, Shar and I went on a vacation with another friend right before COVID started last March to Mexico, and Shar had these like beautiful away bags, and away bags are like this cool lifestyle travel brand. And she has the navy ones, and then she convinced me and our other friend to get them, and then I convinced some other friends to get them. So we're just obsessed with them because they're beautiful, and we can't wait to go travel. So Shar has the navy ones. I have the coast one. I think our friend has a pink one and a gray one. So honestly, it was just exciting to see that Haley was also a part of our cool group of folks who have away bags. But that's really about it. Oh, when his mom said he was always 5 going on 85, I was like, LOL, because that's what it feels like. When he when he said teacher said he was 5 going on 85, I was cracking up. But honestly, it was just boring. Like, stop talking about your house. He just reminds me of an old man. Like, I feel like old men and uncles constantly talk about the same thing all the time. It's like nobody cares about your exercise equipment at your house and your fake beach. Like, come on, keep it moving. I don't care. That's it.
Totally agree. My last point about them was when they were packing and I saw the away bag, which I was like, that was so exciting.
Yeah.
But it was funny. He kept showing t-shirts and his t-shirts were all like weird sayings.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that he wears like saying shirts. And I'm like, elf, like grow up. I didn't like any of that. That's honestly all I have for them. So
Yeah.
boring.
Next.
Didn't care. Yeah. Okay. So next, who do we want to go to? Want to go to Eric and Virginia?
Yeah, I have like the least amount of notes for them, and then Ryan and Claire. Yeah.
Okay, so for Eric and Virginia in bed, they were just so at ease
They're
with each
like,
other. Like
yeah.
very comfortable. It seemed quite magnetic to me, which I was kind of like, ugh, like it was a little weird. But then I'm happy for them. They feel that, but it definitely seems real to me right now. How it's
Yeah.
gonna go on, I don't know. But it was interesting. Like they just like cozied up together. It was fine. Like he just keeps saying she's so hot. She's so hot. So I'm like, okay, like I like that. I thought that was cute. What else did I say about them? Oh, their brunches were interesting. Her parents seemed to be, I mean, her mom seemed to be really nice to him.
Hmm.
But that was all I was at. Yeah. What do you think?
Um, I don't know. So I feel like the first few episodes of this season, Eric came off to me like just a little bit creepy in a sense. I don't know. But and I kind of started off this episode like he still's giving me like this creepy vibes. But I'm not gonna lie, when he put those glasses on, I thought he looked kind of cute. So I'm like, you know what, Eric, maybe the glasses look is for you. Like, I don't know. It was a little bit better, but he's still giving me kind of creepy vibes. But I don't know. I I'm happy to see him happy and like attracted to her. And I think it's cute. So, whatever. I thought that Virginia, like, she kept like pushing him to kiss her, like moving his head. And I was like, oh, she is like very
Yeah.
dominant. Go her. Very forward. I was very surprised. I thought it was very interesting that he said that he got married for military purposes on paper. That happens a lot of these military spouses, or couples, they really just get married so that they can bring their long-term girlfriend with them and, have them stay over. And then they get caught up in a situation where they're like, crap, we're actually married. So that happens a lot. So I think it's really interesting that he has that background, and that they're bringing that to Married at First Sight. But honestly, that's it. I mean, we'll see how they go. Oh, also, that's not it. Okay. Um, you're starting to see a little bit more with him, like being hesitant and being like, you're drinking a lot, like you should relax. And I wonder how she's going to start dealing with that. He's like, champagne is fine, but she's like, no, let's do more, let's do more. And I hope that he doesn't end up giving her like daddy vibes, like, I'm trying to control you, stop drinking, because I think that would push her away. But I feel like that's what's going to end up happening.
I agree. And it seems like right now with the drinking, like she thinks it's funny. Like when he says, oh, it's
Yeah.
a little bit too much, she just goes, oh, ha, ha. She's laughing it off. I don't think she'll be laughing it off in a couple weeks, especially the next episode, I think, is when he starts getting a little bit jealous or
Yeah.
whatever. So she might not think things are so funny anymore. But yeah, that's all I have for them.
Yeah.
I thought it was surprisingly cute. I mean, for them, I was shocked at how connected they were.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
next we can go to Ryan and Clara, who I feel like my heart is melting for them. I think they're so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to tell you before we started recording. He reminds me so much of somebody, so you can think about it. I'll tell you all
Okay.
about him. I'm like, oh my god, you remind me of someone. But I think that they have this nice, what I would call like quiet attraction. It's not like super overt. It's not like I'm gonna, make out with you all day. But it just seems like this comfort that's growing more and more. Like when they got out of bed, everything just seemed to be getting progressively better, which I really liked. I was a little bit, was she the one who mentioned that she wasn't sure? Oh no, she was the one who had the religious thing a little bit.
Yeah.
She's not sure. So that was a little bit concerning because he mentions later that he'll want to raise his kids in church and this and that. So I think that might come up. But she seems like an open person, and I feel like she would just go along with it anyway. I don't think it's going to be a big thing. But I thought they had a really cute start so far.
Yeah. I in like the top of my notes, I'm like, I really like Ryan. Like, I'm starting to like him more and more as the episodes continue. And I didn't think that I was going to like feel him that much, or feel like connected to, I guess, like his character, his persona. But I really like him. I like how he's a sensitive gentleman. Um, he is such a Gemini. Like, he started out during his wedding saying, like, he's very loud, he's outgoing. And then as he talks to his wife, he's like, yeah, but I also like need my me time. Like, like, I need to be alone. And that is like such a struggle of a Gemini. Like, to other people, we're like loud and outgoing, but then we're all of a sudden two-faced because we want to be standoffish, because we need or we look standoffish because we need our alone time. And I just hope that she doesn't feel overly sensitive towards that, because that's just like how we are. But it just reminded me like of myself and just Geminis in general. She's not neat or organized, and I don't know if that's going to be an issue, but I could see him looking like, oh, when she was trying to find the stuff like through her luggage. I know he was like, yikes. But I don't know. I think we'll see. I hope that they develop a romantic connection. It looks like they could develop a physical one possibly, but I'm just worried about that romantic. It just seems like it's such like a friend vibe right now. I just hope that they can move out of that.
Me too. That's like my biggest concern right now, is that they'll let it go on a little bit too long and then the friend vibe is just there and it
Yeah.
can't take it. That's like the worst. So I am a little bit concerned about that. But in terms of like how connected they are, I think if anything, they could be like best friends. But I think
Yeah.
they will get. I think they will get there because they both really want to try. Let me see if I said anything else about them. Nothing. Nothing else. Oh, he did. He did mention again. He was another one who mentioned he has a little bit of issues with communication. He said that at brunch, but I was like, I think he seems to be a good communicator to me.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think communicating. Maybe he won't be communicating exactly what she wants. Like if she says "I love you" in a month, I don't think he's
He's
going to
like,
communicate. Yeah, but I think that he'll be open with her, honest about what's going on, and he definitely seems protective of her feelings, which is very important. He doesn't just say anything. So I
Yeah.
think he's really special and great. So I'm excited to watch them. And okay, so we can either go to the mess or we can go to the
Let's
night.
go to Brie and Vincent, and then we'll keep the rest of the time for the mess, because the mess is, there's a lot to unpack. So let's just do Brie and Vince.
Okay, you start with Brie and Vincent. Go ahead.
Honestly, I'm just like, every time I see her, I'm like, she is just so beautiful. I need to know what type of hair that they
Yeah.
use for her wedding, because it looks so good. Um, she said she wanted him, like, she wanted someone who was tall, tanned, with a beard, gore. Like, just I just love the way they look together. Once again, I just love his voice. Her Bree's mom is beautiful. Her friends are beautiful. Like, everything about this union is so beautiful to me. I just can't. The way that they interact with each other, like the subtle like hand touches, and oh my gosh, it's just their connection. I just love it. I love it. I love how she was like, comforting him when he got that phone call. There's no real concerns for me. I'm just so excited to see them fall in love. That's really it.
I definitely agree because they've already had like a little step of adversity, and the way she reacted, it wasn't like, oh, you're about to ruin our trip, you're about to no, she acted like a wife, she supported him, and like, okay, if it's time to go, we'll go. If not, whatever. At the beginning of the episode, I wrote down in quotes, he said about her, he said she's the perfect one. I'm like, oh my god, I can't, like, I just can't. He's so sweet.
Yeah.
I It just seems like they're gonna balance each other so well. They just connect so much. Like when she was sitting on his lap, they just looked like they just belong.
Yeah.
They've known each other forever. They've known each other for 3 days. I'm like, how is this connection
Yeah.
already so strong? But they just hit this one out of the park. I loved him talking to her family. His family seems really protective of him. The only thing that, remember, his cousin made a comment that he gets when he's mad, he's like really, really mad.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like, no, like I don't think I'm like that. So we'll see if anything like that comes up.
Yeah.
But he doesn't strike me to be like that. No.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything to be overly concerned about. And like stuff like that, it just depends on the person and what they're used to. Because really mad for them could just mean that he's cursing, right? But really mad for me is like if someone's punching walls and acting like cursing. Okay, I can tell you're mad, but it's cool. It just depends on the person what you're used to. So I don't think it's anything to really worry about at this point.
Yes, and that's like it was like his cousin, but that's like
Yeah.
his. So and you probably grew up with her, and who knows what kind of fights they had as kids. So that was fine. Other than that, I think that they are so great. I hope they get to stay on the honeymoon. I hope they get to, nothing's happening too bad with his family. Because I think I would love to see them just kind of get to vibe in Vegas and be with the other couples. I really want to see that.
Yeah. And she said something like let's just have a day where we what she say, like turn up or pop bottle. Like they just seem like they're so oh. And then so then when I heard about the grandmother, I'm like, no, I want to see that day where they just stay in and pop bottles and just have fun.
I know.
But yeah.
Hopefully they get to stay because they'll probably only be there for like a week. And it sounded like, I think they said she had a heart attack, I think.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
It depends. We'll see. But I hope they get to stay. And then like go see the grandma right after because I really want to see them there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing great. I think they'll be one of those couples that will always be like remembered in the franchise as just being like stars.
Yeah. And hopefully they can be on couples camp. I feel like they're just going to be like a Amani and Woody type situation. Honestly, I feel like their connection is, I can see more of their connection immediately than I did for Amani and Woody. I was never like quite sure how Amani was feeling about Woody, but this is just like, whoa, this could really be something. So I'm excited. That's it.
Whew, me too. Okay, so from a high to the lowest of absolute lows. I mean, we thought last week was bad, and it was. I mean, the wedding was horrible for Chris and Paige. Seeing
Yeah.
his dad, I knew we would have to see his dad again, but I didn't think he would act, more wild than he did at the wedding. He outdid himself. It was all just downhill. So we can just
To an
start.
extent, because I agree, and then I we'll
Okay,
talk about it, but
so we'll start at the top. So we get to the hotel. And the vibe to me was not great at when they first got to the hotel. Like it wasn't like, even though I was pretty sure they were gonna have sex because it was like alluding to that, it just didn't seem like they were even in the place to do that. Like they just had these awkward conversations at the wedding. Nothing really connected them at the wedding. And then next thing you know, we find out that they had sex, which we're like, okay. So what did you think about it? Were you surprised that they had sex?
I was not surprised that they did it. I think I was more surprised that she would want to.
Yeah.
It was just, it was so interesting that she had so many red flags. And this could also go back to the fact that, you know, how we said that she just seems like she's like committed. Like she has that godly Christian, like wife mentality going on. But even if you have that mentality, you do not have to sleep with your husband, even if you like, you have red flags. But she looked like she was prepared to, for whatever reason. She can do whatever she wants, right? Maybe she just wanted to have sex, which is fine. But I would just think if you had that many red flags, regardless of that, if he's your husband, you would not do it. But I could tell that she was ready. It looked like he was kind of just going to go with the flow, but she looked ready. I don't know if you got that vibe too, but that's just what I got.
Yeah, yeah. But it made me sad that she felt that because it did feel like the thing where it's like, oh, it's my wedding night, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And like, it's just not. You don't have to do that. Again, if she wanted to, which it did seem like that's fine. But it just
Yeah.
seemed like already going to be cemented in her mind. Didn't matter who walked down that aisle, how they talked to her, how their daddy talked to her. She was still
Mm,
going to do it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't love
yeah.
that. So we
Yeah.
find that out, and and not just one time. It was at least twice from what we understood. It happened
But yeah.
just
Mm.
awkward. So then she wakes up in the morning, and he says he's going to get the breakfast menus from downstairs, from downstairs, and then he's just gone. So I honestly didn't
Mm.
know where he went. I was like, maybe he went to go like see friends or to just try to get out of this thing or something. I knew he wasn't running because we see him later in the season, but I'm like, maybe he was just trying to get out or whatever. But he comes back and says he had a panic attack.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Okay, I shouldn't be laughing. So before, okay, so kind of going back to like, it looked like she was ready to have sex with him. I forgot to mention that she was joking when they were in the bathroom getting undressed. She was joking about the condom box first, which was interesting, almost like alluding, right? Because I'm telling you, if that were me and he was acting all wild at the wedding, I would have been like Haley, no,
Yes.
like only do the top button, not the back one. Don't touch me, and I'm gonna see you later. I'm gonna brush my teeth until like 1 o'clock in the morning until you go to bed, and I'll see you when you already sleep. Right? That's what I would have been doing. But the fact that she was joking and then she was undressing him, it was a very intimate thing to do for a person who you just met, and you also feel like there are red flags. It wasn't like they were giving us Virginia and Eric vibes at this time, right? So I thought that was very interesting. And then when he was gone for the hour and 50 minutes flat, she was very patient. And I thought he maybe went on a run. I mean, either way, he should have communicated with her. But I also could not believe that he had a panic attack. I was very surprised that that was the issue. Um, I was just very surprised that that's what happened.
Me too. Me too. I thought maybe he was going to talk to his parents. I thought a
Yeah,
lot of it wasn't that. So to hear that, I'm like, okay, so maybe some things will come up about anxiety or things like that because I remember
right.
Brandon
Yeah.
had a lot of issues with that. So that could be the case. And he does actually give me a bit of anxious vibes. Like he seems a little like jittery and a little bit,
Just
so I could see
insecure
that.
and like, yeah,
So I could see that. And it might have just been like a really overwhelming night. And apparently, like, as we find out later, he didn't really want to have sex. He just wanted to connect to his wife, whatever. So maybe that like kind of triggered him and whatever. But also, it's like you didn't want to have sex, so you had sex twice. Okay. Mm, it's
yeah.
all a little.
There were a lot of problems. There were a lot of problems. It reminded me of like stupid college. Like, how old are we? You got married. You went through this entire process of interviews and tests for months. You should know what you want. You should know if you should have, wrote down a list of pros and cons. you knew that it was married at first sight. First sight meaning you've never seen them before, which also means that you might not be attracted to them. So
Yeah.
how are you going to figure it out if it was someone different, right? Like, oh man, it just he just, man, I don't know. That whole connection thing, that I feel like that was almost triggering. I could see so many women being so triggered by that conversation
Yeah.
of being like, I only wanted to do that to see if I could connect with you. What? Oh my gosh. That just, it was F boy mentality. It was just like that typical, like, I didn't like you, but I just needed to feel. Oh my gosh. Like, come on, get out of here. That's straight out of a movie.
That was so bad, and the part that was so bad about that to me is like it now it gets spun into this thing where I'm honest with you. I'm telling you this because I'm honest. It kept going to that, which they get
Yeah.
to like that's
Yeah.
not what honesty means. You just say all this reckless stuff and say, well, this is how I feel, so this is how I feel. No, like if you like I said last week, there are ways to soften blows. This is not
Yep.
just any woman, this is your wife. I would hope that for any woman you would try to be a little bit sensitive to that, but there are ways to say things like, oh, I'm not really ready for that right now. I want to connect to you on different levels first. I want to be attracted to you on all different levels before,
Right.
things like that. But to hear that I just wanted to have sex with you to see if I would get more attracted to you, like that is just, like you said, F boy mentality. It's very like, it's just mind games,
Yep.
very college, very, that type of thing where I'm gonna give you a tiny bit of something, which is the
Mm-hmm.
sex, but then I'm gonna, disrespect you in every other way, left, right, and center. It's
Yep.
just, I've heard
Yep.
this a million times before. I'm just,
Yep.
it's,
And he had the audacity to sit there all stank and
yeah.
upset, like he was the one really going through it. When he's telling her all this honest stuff, like for me, you can be honest but also have empathy. And he was not having that empathy. Like, can he imagine if that were somebody else saying it to him? Because I'm sure he would have flipped his lid if someone were like, "Yeah, I'm just not attracted to you, but I just, try to have sex with you because that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, I actually don't think you're cute at all."
Oh
Like,
my
can
God.
you imagine someone said that to him? He had the audacity. Oh, I was so upset. But honestly, he's not completely in the wrong this whole episode, I felt.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
do you want to
Okay.
go? Okay, so we want to transition.
I'll go on to the brunch. So if I remember correctly, did he go to a brunch or no?
No. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened where her parents were at. They might just say, "Yeah, we ain't feeling him," and didn't go. I don't know what happened.
I assumed that maybe the time for brunch was when he was having a panic attack.
Oh.
I don't
Well, you're
know.
right because she did say I thought he went out to get us breakfast. I mean, no, 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 because she said he might have went out to get her breakfast, and I'm assuming why would he get you breakfast on the day that you're supposed to be meeting each other's families? So maybe her family was never going to come. I don't know. Right?
And
That doesn't make sense.
you're right. That part doesn't make sense. But I mean, honestly, if I met Chris, I probably wouldn't want to meet him for brunch either. So I don't blame them.
Mm.
Um, so anyway, but her brunch said enough because when she went to brunch, the first thing she wanted to talk about.
She sang like a canary. She sang like a. I was like, wait, 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 wait.
I did not like that
Me
at all.
neither.
I understand that you're frustrated and all these things, but firstly, she has a great group of women around her. Those friends, they were all looking out for her. This and that. This conversation can wait until you see your friends or your mom or whoever you're really close to in that way. These people who you met yesterday, you want to talk about how you just had sex with their son and now your son, like, no, that was
Twice. We had a moment. We had a moment. Not once, but twice. It's like, oh.
what do you want someone's like, and I'm not saying I like his parents, but what do you want someone's parents to say to that? They just met you the night before. They now found out that you were sexually active with their son and you did, and he said all these mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So I didn't like that I was shocked because it didn't even seem like it was in her character. She might have just been so upset from what had happened. And it was
Yeah.
the first person she saw was them, so she just vented, which I do get in some ways, but it was just I did not like that she told them that.
I agree. I think it could have been maybe we missed some parts of the conversation that she had with them the night before where they maybe reassured her that, I mean, and I could kind of see this happen specifically with the dad being like, talk to him, but also like talk to us if you have any issue because he's different, stuff like that. Um, I also feel like that Christian mentality definitely was in the conversation because when she mentioned like, her obviously having sex with her husband, that she doesn't do that. She's not that type of girl. And the mom and the aunt were like, yeah, like that makes sense that you did that specifically with your husband, right? And I'm thinking if she's such a Christian woman, she wouldn't have said that unless she would have thought that they would have been okay with the fact that they had sex
Yeah.
because they were married, right? So I think she really, looks like you said, she probably just was overwhelmed, didn't know what to do. She wanted to figure out like if what is up with him, if he's just like this type of person. But also, maybe they just had a conversation the night before, which made her feel comfortable about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So everyone's reaction, like you said, the mom and the aunt were kind of like, oh, like whatever. And the dad was just kind of like,
I was
he was,
surprised.
yes, he was surprised when she made the comment of, oh, and he said he was not attracted to me. And the dad said, he said that to you? That was like his first response. Like he said that. So he was surprised to hear that, which I was like, okay, daddy, I see you. You're not liking that he said that to her.
But he's still creepy. He's still creepy because when she got to that table, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're gorgeous. You look gorgeous." I'm like, he's creepy. He's just weird, a weird guy. But I was so surprised that he came to her rescue, and I appreciate it because the crazy mom wasn't doing that. So,
No, no.
But yeah, the dad surprised.
I thought he handled it pretty well,
Yeah,
especially how we saw him the night before, whatever, at the wedding. He kind of shocked me. My eyes were a little bit wide. I was like, okay, daddy. Again, still not my favorite person. I'm sure we'll see him more as the season goes
yeah,
on. I did like that he, reassured her that she can always talk to them. They're always here for her. And now that's their daughter-in-law, so they always support her. That was like their baseline for everything. Even the mom said that, everyone said that. So I'm okay. So maybe they were uncomfortable hearing about the fact that they just had sex, which honestly I can totally understand that. I would be very annoyed if I did Married at First Sight and then my husband was going to tell my parents that. I'd be like, no, don't do that. So I get that. But I love that the bottom line was, hey, you're feeling things, you can come to us, you can, whatever. So hopefully she learned that maybe she shouldn't. Oh, what?
but it took a while to get there
Yes.
because it took a while. The dad felt that way, but the
Yes.
mom was like, "Well, did he have a drink?" And I'm
Oh,
like, you know what? So you both are enablers. That's what it sounds like. You both are suspect. I was trying to give the mom the benefit of the doubt the first night when her husband was talking all crazy and she wasn't saying anything. But then when she said that, I'm like, oh, okay. So you both think that your son is God and you enable his behavior. That's what it sounds like. And I was like, this is nuts. This is nuts. And then after the dad does such a good job in supporting her, and the reason why she said that they had sex twice is because the mom tried to play her and was like, well, did he have a drink? And she was like, we had sex twice. Boo. I'm like, you tell her, yeah, let her know. Um, but but then after all that, and after the dad was doing good and supporting her, he was like, well, you're my type of daughter-in-law. I'm like, you are disgusting.
I know. I know.
Disgusting.
Anything good he does, he follows it up with nasty,
Something
nasty.
nasty.
Yeah, just
Ugh.
it's that creepy thing. Like I feel it through the screen, so I can't even imagine how she's feeling being like 2 feet away from him. It just feels everything feels inappropriate. I did like you said at the end, he seemed to be coming to her rescue, which I did like. And then by then, did Chris went and talked to his family?
Uh, no, Chris went, I think, did he go to talk? Yeah, I think he went to talk to his family and then he talked to her.
Yes. So when he talked to his family, he quickly found out that they knew that they had sex and he was not happy about it, which to be fair
I
is a little
agree.
shocking to see your parents for the first night after and then you find out that they know that. I understood why he was annoyed. Um, it seemed like a natural reaction to me. And I guess he had just came off of this panic attack situation or whatever. So he was probably already on edge. And then, next thing you know, you're finding out that your parents know about your sex life from last night. Um, And I forget exactly what his dad said. Was his dad nice or was he not?
Yeah, his dad. I mean, his dad was like, "Well, you shouldn't essentially be leading her on." But then he, kind of took it back and was like, "Oh, you need to make sure that you're honest with her," and that's why Chris keeps saying, "Oh, I'm being honest. I'm being honest," and we're like, "Okay, as long as you're an honest gentleman," some stupid stuff like that. But I will say, although I think it was weird and that Paige shouldn't have talked to his parents about it, it seems like Chris has talked to everybody about his sex life. He's talking to his dad about his wife's shape. I mean, so I just think it's really interesting. It's what's it called? A double standard almost in a sense that he can talk to everybody about his wife's body and how he has, was thinking about not having sex on the wedding night, all this stuff. And then when she talks to her parents about their situation, it's like, nope, I don't talk to my parents about sex. Let's clarify. You might not talk to your mom about it, but it's obvious that you talk to your dad about it. So, and your dad was really the one who was engaging in more of a conversation with her about it. So honestly, I don't know. She shouldn't have done it, but certain families just do things a certain way. And she probably just thought that his family just did things a certain way. So do I blame her for that? She's only known him for a day. So I don't know. But his reaction to her, I think, was a lot. Um, and yeah, I don't know. His aunt and his mom were just weird. I'm just not really trying to pay attention to them because I think that they're enablers and just
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yeah, I thought that they were disrespectful for sure. I agree with you that she was wrong. I understand that some families are different or whatever, but I would say you err on the side of caution with that type of
Yeah.
stuff. You don't jump off the deep end and assume that people want to hear about their son's sex life
Yeah.
from you, whether they have
Yeah.
that conversations with their son or not. I would,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But by the time Chris got to Paige and their conversation, it was like, okay, so she didn't know anything at this point. She didn't know why he wasn't there. She didn't know what was going on, whatever. So now he comes in hot because he had already talked to the parents.
Yeah, he was hot.
He was mad. So he tells her that he had a panic attack. And then he tells her about how he doesn't appreciate that, she talked to his parents about this, and that. And it just seemed like the way he was talking, it was very much like, hey, don't ever do this again. Like, it just seemed a little bit like,
Authoritative,
yeah, he was really,
victimizing, sitting there
yeah. And she,
crying. I was
yeah,
like, not Chris sitting there crying,
cried.
crying.
He actually,
I don't like that. Don't talk. I don't do that. I'm like,
the one thing that was funny was when he was crying, she literally looked at him and said, "Why are you crying?" Like,
yeah, I like how she seems like she's just like she has like two different things. I love how she is someone who is like, what's going on? Almost like I don't care. I can see right through your crap. Like she gives me that vibe. I feel like that's how she acts when she's kind of like has this tough exterior and tells him how it is. I'm like, that's how I would be in this situation.
yeah,
But then she like switches the script and then she acts all like, sensitive and once we having sex with him and stuff, I'm like, wait, no. We were just doing so well. We were just doing so well. How are you doing these two different things? Yeah. Yeah. And then
it's a lot. It's a
it's
lot.
it's
I
confusing.
It's very confusing because I think, like we said from the beginning, she wants to put her best foot forward in this marriage, which I totally, totally understand. She's taking it seriously, this, and that. But then a lot of times she's very aggravated, and then she goes to, to his parents and this and that, and she seems very insensitive when he's crying and whatever. And then, a little bit later, he's like, "Okay, well, I hope today is better than yesterday." And she's like, "Yeah, me too. We're good." And it's like, what? That's the end? I mean, I guess.
I
And I
guess,
guess that
yeah.
they're all about moving forward, which is
Yeah.
good, but I didn't really think the situation was resolved at all. Like, where was the resolution part? I didn't see it.
Listen, they got a lot to work through. This is only day 2. So I'm sure they're just like, okay, we just won't do that again. Let's keep moving. Because if you harp on that, they're never going to get through the 6 weeks or the 8 weeks, to be
I
honest.
Yeah,
And
I understand.
even
Yeah.
and I know that then she brought up because it looked like she also talked to her guy friends, right? So she probably before she talked to the parents, she did
Yeah.
talk to her guy friends, and then
Yeah.
he was upset about that. Don't talk to your guy friends about our sex life. I'm like, I mean, I get it, but also like, you don't know me, I don't know you. And that's what she was saying. Like, who else am I supposed to talk, to this about, or about, I don't know.
I will say in his argument to that, he, like you said, he doesn't know her and he can't
Yeah.
just tell her, okay, you can't talk to my parents and you can't talk to your friends. You can't talk to, like, you can't do that. But that's the huge thing for a lot of people where it's, don't talk to your guy friends about what we,
Yeah.
which, maybe when you know each other more, you understand that more. I think I get that, but especially when that was your first night with somebody, it was that terrible. Then the man leaves you for who knows where he went, and you have no one to talk to. You can't blame this girl for that.
Yeah.
Like if you find out later that your husband's really uncomfortable with you having guy friends, that might be a red flag. But if you do find that out and you're secure in that, you're like, okay, well, I won't talk to them about that. Maybe I'll talk to my girls about that or whatever if I need to, and you respect that. But I don't really know what he wanted her to do. I think she was, honestly, when she was saying that, she was just lost. She's like, I need a perspective from other men because I didn't know men who did that. And her friend said what she thought, that men don't have sex with women they're not attracted to, which I don't know about that.
I
But
mean, here's the thing. It might not be physical attraction. It could be a emotion. It's something on the attraction spectrum.
yes,
But I mean, it obviously there. I mean, if you are having sex with someone, you have to be sexually attracted to them in some way. But
in
you might
some,
not be physically attracted to them. You could
yeah.
be emotionally attracted to them, right? Or even maybe like romantically. There's multiple spectrums of attraction. Um,
Which maybe Chris felt one of those. Chris could have very well felt one of those levels of attraction.
yeah, I think he felt the emotional because he kept saying like there's a lot of things that I think we do connect on. Like she's a person that I need, right? But he didn't. It obviously wasn't that physical. He also could have felt a sexual connection or attraction to her and a romantic, but he still might not be physically attracted to her, which is completely possible.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, come on. Um, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So from there, they found out they were going to Vegas. I think that was the next thing. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone was excited. And they were both just like, okay, well, let's just have a good,
Let's
like,
just
I didn't
try.
see a resolution. It was like, let's just try. But to
No.
be fair, like you said, if they're already having this many issues, you have to just kind of let that one go and hope that it never comes up again. That's not the way that arguments work. It doesn't. It's going to come back up. It's going to
Yeah.
keep coming up. You can resolve it. But I think now there's, we have this great trip to go on. Let's go. They both seemed excited about the trip. This was the first time I saw Chris smile since before he met her. So I was like, okay, he's excited to go to Vegas. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just glad that man stopped crying. I was like, this is ridiculous. Day two, this is ridiculous.
The crying, him crying was, I mean, it wasn't that funny. It was just funny the way she was looking at him. She's like,
Yeah, her reaction was like, what?
sensitive, but then she was so like, I don't care. So I was like, okay, I don't know. So we'll see how it plays out with them a little bit as it goes on, because in the preview later, he asked her, oh, if today was decision day, would you say yes? And she's like, probably not. So it's like, okay, well, she's
But
got
see,
some.
it's confusing though, because that's the page I like. Keep it real with him, right? Keep him on his toes. But then she's like, oh, but he's my husband. I'll be there for him with her little whisper tone. And I'm like, listen, girl, perk up, perk up. Her little whisper. I mean, it's cute. I like it, but like, come on, he needs like he is not the type of man who needs that coddling. He's obviously been coddled enough by his mom and dad enablers and whatever family members, his grandparents, and all his friends. He's been in it like he needs somebody to get him together. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be her. But here's the thing: I don't think that he wants somebody to do that. I think he's had enablers in his life, his whole life, and he wants a wife to be that same way. And
Yeah.
she is that way, but she isn't. And I think she's gonna kind of like dim her light, which we talked about before, to have to be with him, and she's gonna end up enabling him a little bit and not being
Yeah.
able to be who. and I guess like communicate the way that she really wants to, which is kind of what I feel like we saw this episode, her going back and forth and back and forth
Yeah.
instead of being
Yeah.
consistent.
It's giving me a little bit of like all bark and no bite, because it's not bark like she's feisty barking, but she has like little snide things to say and this and that, but really they don't mean anything, because I feel like she's still going to be trying at the baseline. It's, this is my husband, I'm going to make it work with my husband.
Yeah.
So it's, I'll be mad, that you were crying, or I'll be mad that you left me for 2 hours or whatever, but really, at the end of the night, I'm not going to be mad anymore. So
Yeah.
I think he's pick up on that very quickly of, oh, I can leave for 2 hours. I'm not saying he didn't have a panic attack, whatever he had, but I can do it. Yeah, and he's just gonna keep doing these little things. I told her she can't talk to her guy friend, she don't do it no more. I did this, he's gonna pick up on that. And that's, to me, when you just see a woman breaking down, which I hate. So I really hope that's what happens. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Vegas will bring them closer together. I highly doubt it. But one thing I do know is they're gonna have a lot of sex. So I don't like that. I don't like.
Me neither. I don't think that that's. Yeah, I mean, it's not good. It's obviously not going to work for them. But
no, it's the only thing that's connecting them right now, which is the worst way to have a relationship. Your baseline cannot be sex. There's going to be nothing else involved then, at all. So we'll see. But that's all I have. I was scared last week, but I assumed it was going to get better this week. No, it was terrible.
No, it's definitely going to continue to go downhill. And I think that based off of like their previews, it's just going to, their whole time in Las Vegas, I think this is when he's going to get the call that he fathered somebody's baby. And I think he's going to get the call that he has baby mama. I'm pretty sure this is when it happens. It happens when he's here and they're all going to be together. He's just going to act up the entire time. Great for entertainment purposes, but I feel bad for Paige, but we'll see what happens. Also, side note, I thought was so funny what he said about all the couples. He was like, yeah, I mixed all the couples up. I didn't know who was with who. Oh, yeah. I could tell that Brie and Vincent, they have the same swag, connection, whatever. And he was like, Haley and Jake, I don't think that's going to work. She seems like a nice lady. Like, he's right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so he's like a little bit of a good judge of character. He saw like, oh, who does this? And I thought that was actually funny. But himself, I'm just not feeling it. And also a little clip came out of him proposing to his ex-fiance. So I got to see a little bit of what she looked like. She was my skin tone, like I said.
Oh, so, we knew it. We knew it. We knew he liked Shars. We knew he liked Shars and not Paige's. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, man. We got to figure out how to do picks.
Yeah, she wasn't like regular or ugly. No, like she looked like a nice, pretty girl, but she was, and it was kind of like a fuzzy thing, but the first thing I saw was her skin tone. I said, oh,
she's a little light. Hey, people like what they like at the end of the day, but it is what it is.
I have my, that's a whole other conversation,
Yeah.
I don't love.
Yeah. That's
We'll see how they progress. I think they're still at the bottom of our leaderboard, I'd say. They're still
Haley and Jake.
Haley and Jake are at the bottom. They're at
the bottom. They're at the real bottom. Then I think it's Paige and Chris. I think Paige is going to try. Haley, I consider just being like, yes, I'm just waving the red flag. With the surrender. She's just going to give up, I think.
I know, she's just going to go. But I think that's all I had. Anything else for you?
No, that's really it. I mean, we're just going to keep watching this go downhill for the two couples and hopefully uphill for the other three. That's pretty much it. Well, we're going to continue watching Married at First Sight. Keep following us on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and that's it.
See you next week.
All right, bye.